In this video, we'll talk about some of the new requirements that travelers that are coming to the United States need to fulfill. For example, you now need a COVID test results before boarding any international flights coming to the United States. So we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about some of the common questions that are being asked by CBP for travelers coming into the United States. So I'll see you on the other side. Welcome back to our immigration channel. This is a place where you get the most up-to-date immigration news, immigration updates, and everything else that you need to make your immigration less stressful. So let's talk about some of the new travel requirements that now are required from every traveler entering in the United States. So for the first time since the pandemic started, every traveler entering the United States must present a negative coronavirus test taken 3 days prior to their flight, or proof that they have recovered from the coronavirus in the past 3 months. Those passengers that are not going to be able to provide this are going to be denied boarding flights or entry to the United States by the CBP. Also remember that the travel ban from Schengen, United Kingdom, Ireland, Brazil, and now also South Africa added, which means that any passenger that is flying from those countries cannot enter the United States directly and must quarantine in a third country for 14 days before flying into the United States. Those requirements are continued to be upheld by the airlines as well as CBP before a passenger is able to enter the United States. So what's actually happening when international travelers are actually arriving to the United States? The first US official that you will meet is a representative of the Customs and Border Patrol Agency, also known as the CBP. The CBP officer will inspect your passport, will look at your visa or your travel document, and make sure that you are eligible to enter the United States. If you're not, they're going to pull you to a secondary inspection and decide what to do with you before sending you back. Since the pandemic started, people experience severe delays and long lines upon entry to the United States. Those lines and delays are expected to continue all the way through into 2021. CBP officers often ask questions from all international travelers. Let's go over some of these most common questions that have been asked by CBP, specifically under the coronavirus pandemic. Question number one, why are you visiting the United States? Make sure that your answer matches the visa type that you have. For example, if you're coming to the United States on an ESTA or B2 as a visitor, and you're telling them that you're coming to work or get married, obviously you'll be denied entry because your visa is for tourism, but the purpose of your trip, based on your answer, is to work. Whatever your answer is, make sure it doesn't violate the terms of the visa that you're currently holding. Where are you traveling from? Remember, under the pandemic, specifically since we have all these travel restrictions, be aware that if you somehow happen to arrive from Europe or from Brazil or from any country that is prohibited from entering under any of the travel bans, don't be surprised if CBP will take you to secondary inspection and will send you back. Understand what are the travel requirements, what are the travel restrictions, and make sure you follow them as well. And now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, make sure you have your negative coronavirus test, because if you don't, you'll be turned back and will not be allowed to enter the United States. Where will you be staying? This is a very common question that CBP will ask. Remember that they want to make sure that you know where you're going and that your intention is not to stay permanently. People that have no clue where they're going or they mumble some general information will raise a suspicion of the CBP officer, and most likely you'll be turned to secondary inspection. How long will you be staying? Once again, it depends on what kind of visa you're coming with. If you're entering with a non-immigrant visa, like a student visa or some sort of a work visa, make sure your answer matches the duration of your visa. If you're traveling with a green card, make sure that you say that you're coming back home because the purpose of the green card is to live in the United States and not abandon your residency. Another question they're asking right now is, what other countries have you visited before entering the United States? Once again, because of the coronavirus pandemic, they also want to make sure that you have not visited any countries that are under any of the bans or prohibited or will raise any other suspicion. So just be clear and honest, and make sure you let them know that even if you visited any of the countries that are banned, you've already quarantined somewhere else for 2 weeks and you're clear to come to the United States with your negative coronavirus test. Are you bringing anything with you to the United States? This is a very common question they ask. They want to make sure that you bring anything prohibited. For example, if you cross the border, Mexico and Canada, you cannot bring fruit and food and things like that. So Pretty straightforward question. Just make sure you answer it honestly and avoid yourself being sent to secondary inspection. Be prepared for luggage search. If the CBP officers have authority to open your bags, your carry-on, to look in there. If you have a computer, they can ask you to open the computer and look inside. So once again, if you come as a visitor, make sure you don't carry with you some resumes or anything that will look like you're coming to work or seek employment. That's the number one reason why a lot of visitors or people who come on non-immigrant visas are being sent back. Also remember that under the coronavirus conditions, there may be some medical screening that you can go through. They may ask to check your temperature or once again verify your travel. If you travel to a country, there's a high rate of infections, specifically with when it comes to the pandemic. The most important thing is that these procedures may change on a weekly basis. For example, the test requirement, the negative test requirement is a fairly new thing that started this week, and we may see other restrictions come up in the next few months. Once again, thanks for watching. If you found this information helpful, click on the notification bell to be notified when new videos are released on our channel. Also give us that like so YouTube will be able to share this video with more people just like you. And once again, if you want to have a consultation with me, make sure you text me on this number, and we're more than happy to speak with you one-on-one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on our next video. So if you like this video, watch these two videos for more information just like that.